Okay, so we all brush our teeth, right? It's something we do every single day. But what if I told you there's a pretty good chance you could be doing it better? Today, we're going to move beyond just the motions and really dive into the art and science of a truly healthy mouth. Let's get right into it. So let's just start with this question, right here. I want you to think about how you brushed your teeth this morning. Are you absolutely positive you're getting the best possible clean? It seems like such a simple question, but, the answer could be the thing that prevents some major dental problems down the road. Let's see if a few small changes can make a world of difference.
So before we even get into the how of brushing, we really need to understand the why. And that all starts with getting to know the main villain in this whole story.
And here it is. Meet the enemy, microbial plaque. Now this stuff isn't just leftover bits of your lunch. It's a sticky, invisible film of bacteria that is always forming on your teeth. It is, without a doubt, the #1 cause of both cavities and gum disease. So really, our entire oral hygiene routine, everything we're about to talk about, is all about one thing: breaking up and removing this bacterial film every single day.
Okay, so we know who the enemy is. Now, let's talk about our weapons. You gotta build the right toolkit. And believe me, the kind of toothbrush you choose, it actually makes a really big difference.
So, the first big decision. Are you team manual or team powered? Look, a manual brush can absolutely do a fantastic job if you've got the technique down pat. But powered brushes, they can often give you the same or even better results with a lot less effort. They're a total game changer for people with braces, implants, or really anyone who finds it a little tricky to get a manual brush into all the right spots. So what actually makes a brush a great brush, whether it's manual or electric? Well, the American Dental Association has some pretty clear guidelines. First, you want soft nylon bristles with rounded ends. That's so you're gentle on your gums. A smaller head is also key, because it helps you reach all those tight corners in the back. And here's the big one: you've got to replace it every 2 to 3 months. The second you see those bristles starting to fray, it's time for a new one. A worn-out brush just isn't doing the job.
All right, we've got the tools. Now it's time to talk about technique. And this is not a one-size-fits-all situation. I want you to think of this next part as a kind of masterclass, where you can find the perfect technique for your specific mouth.
First up is what's known as the Bass method. This is really the gold standard for most adults. And the absolute key here is the angle. See, you're not really just brushing your teeth. You're aiming for that tiny little pocket where your teeth and gums meet. You want to angle the bristles at 45 degrees, right into that gap, and then use a gentle vibration. It's more of a wiggle than a big scrub. This is how you get the plaque out from just under the gum line, which is exactly where gum disease loves to start.
But what if you have something like braces or a bridge? That Bass method can be tough. Well, that's where the Charters method comes in, and it's perfect. The idea is similar, but you just flip the angle. So instead of aiming into the gums, you point the bristles away from them, up towards the chewing surface, again at that 45-degree angle. This lets the bristles get right up and under the wires and brackets to clean out all those tricky spots.
Now let's talk about the little ones. For kids under, say, 7 years old, their dexterity just isn't there yet, so all these complex angles are out. The best thing is the simple scrub method. It's exactly what it sounds like. Just a straightforward, back-and-forth horizontal scrub. It's super easy for them to learn and for parents to do for them, and it makes sure their teeth get clean without needing a complicated technique.
Now, there are a bunch of other very specialized techniques out there for really specific situations. You might hear about the Stillman's method, which is for stimulating the gums if you have some recession, or the Fone's method, which uses a big circular motion that can be easier for older kids to master. Honestly, you probably won't need these unless your dentist specifically recommends one, but it just goes to show you how personalized your brushing technique can actually be. Okay, listen up, because this is huge. Brushing is only half the battle. If you are not cleaning between your teeth, you are literally missing up to 40% of your tooth's surface. Tackling these areas you can't see is really the pro-level move for total oral health.
And here's exactly why this is so critical. That little space between your teeth, that little valley of gum tissue right in the gap, that is ground zero. It's where most gum disease gets its start. And no matter how great your toothbrush is or how well you use it, the bristles just cannot get in there.
So, how do we clean it? The classic answer, of course, is flossing. And the spool method is the one most people use. You're going to take a pretty generous piece, about 12 to 15 inches, and wrap most of it around one middle finger and just a little bit on the other. Then, you use your thumbs and index fingers to guide a clean section of floss between your teeth. Now here's the key.
You wrap it in a C shape, hugging one tooth, and gently scrape up and down. Then, you do the exact same thing for the tooth next to it before you pull it out and move on. But let's be real for a second. Not everybody loves flossing. And the good news is there are some really great alternatives. Things like interdental brushes, you know, those tiny little bottle brushes? They are fantastic, especially for wider spaces. And floss holders are perfect if you have trouble handling the string. The most important thing, truly, is to find a tool that you will actually use every single day.
All right, we've gone through the why, the what, and the how. So now, let's just pull it all together into a simple, effective, personal routine that you can actually stick with.
So here it is, the blueprint for a rock-solid daily routine. Number 1, brush, at least twice a day. The one at night, before bed, is non-negotiable since your mouth gets drier when you sweep. Number 2, clean between your teeth with floss or something else once a day. And number 3, don't forget to give your tongue a gentle brush to get rid of bacteria and keep your breath fresh. And how long should this all take? Well, you want to be brushing for 2 to 4 minutes. This is so important. The quality and the time you spend are way more critical than how many times a day you do it. Try this tonight. Use the timer on your phone. You might be shocked to realize your normal routine is only like 30 or 40 seconds. Really aim for that full 2 minutes minimum. Because at the end of the day, your oral health is really in your hands. After all this information, the thing that matters most is what you do next. So I'll leave you with this question. What's the one small change you're going to make tonight to take your oral care to the next level? Thanks for joining me for this explainer.